Hunter x Hunter chapter 362. Quick thoughts on this chapter. Crazy chapter. This was actually a good chapter. We actually learned a lot from this chapter. I mean, heavy dialogues as usual, but it was amazing nonetheless. But let's talk about this chapter. We first learned that the Nen beasts that all the princes have are some sort of physical manifestation of the host, kind of like stands from JoJo, and their appearance is usually a mixture of the thoughts of the host and that of the creature itself. So you know we're going to be seeing some crazy looking Nen beast as we move on past each princes. Well, some of them are like understandable, but some of the other creatures that we actually see in this chapter are like warped beyond imagination. It's kind of like the stuff you'd expect to see in the Dark Continent, but apparently these princes are all messed up in the head. Now, the first part of this chapter, during the dinner, we actually see one of the other princes proposing to Serendish that they should team up because the top 3 princes are too dangerous for his standards. He called them ugly. Now, Serendish actually agrees with this, but we know given his personality that this dude is not gonna let that happen. He even says like, if you're even still alive by when this is all over. So he's planning something for these guys already. He's a shady guy, and I personally feel like he's the most likely candidate to win this whole thing. Him and the first son, I forget his name, I think it's Benjamin, and maybe there might be an underdog somewhere among the princes we haven't seen yet. But Serendish, I think he's probably gonna come out on top, but there might be some plot twist at the top as well where the king does his own thing. I don't know. We also get a glimpse of the Nen beasts of some of the princes. Now, some of them were crazy looking. Like the one that caught my attention was Serendish and one of the princes that likes boys. I think it's the female one. I forget her name, but we saw a glimpse of hers and it was like giving birth to like ant-like creatures. I don't know what they were. We didn't actually see where these ant-like creatures were coming from, but it was coming from something. I can only imagine what Kurapika's teacher actually saw, because he said something was actually laying these ant-like creatures. But yeah, it must be some crazy looking Nen beast. Hers was crazy, but we then move on to Serendish, and Jesus Christ, by far his one is the most warped. It looks like a horse with a girl's head, and it wears high heels. That's crazy, which probably relates to why he kills women. But not only that, but inside of its mouth there's another head in there that has a tongue with eyes on it. Obviously this guy's a psycho. We already saw a glimpse of that when he killed those 2 women in the bathtub and everything, and he was taking their brains and everything. I don't know what was going on there, and this is why one of his bodyguards was shook about him learning Nen, which makes sense because this guy would be a monster. Again, his Nen beast is something you'd expect to see in the Dark Continent because that thing is just absolutely freaky. Now, going back to his Nen beast, is there a chance that the head inside of its mouth is actually Pyro? Because there is some resemblance there. They do look a lot similar, and that would make sense because people were always said that Pyro's head was the one we saw in the jar in his room. There is a good chance that that could be Pyro's head, and if that is Pyro's head, I cannot imagine Kurapika's reaction when everything unfolds. It's gonna be crazy. Yeah, this guy is again insanely warped, and he has the highest possibility of winning this whole thing because I feel like he's the smartest. Again, there might be an underdog we might not know about, but the first son is the other person I could consider a threat. Serendish is looking like the top dog right now. He plans like 20 steps ahead of everybody. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be crazy. Overall, this chapter was great. Just my quick thoughts. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. We actually learned a lot from this chapter, but it is Pharaoh, and I will see you guys later.